Hi, it's State Representative Jim Walsh here at the Capitol in Olympia on an absolutely gorgeous spring day. Days like this really remind me why it is great to live in Washington and why we are just blessed to be in one of the most beautiful parts of the whole world here in the Pacific Northwest. I'm standing in front of the John L. O'Brien building, J-Lob they call it. It's one of the office buildings for legislators here at the Capitol, and I'm standing about 50 yards from the governor's mansion that's nestled right in the corner of the Capitol campus here, and looking sort of forward at the dome of the Capitol building. It's a beautiful campus. If you haven't been here, I recommend you come visit sometime and just walk around. It's like a park with politics. And to that point, a lot's been going on in the last couple of days here at the Capitol. We are after the legislative session's end, about a month now, and we are also at the end of the period of time in which the governor can review and decide to either sign or veto or take no action on bills that pass the legislature during the session. Very controversially, yesterday, our current governor decided to sign a number of bad tax increase bills. He also signed the three main budgets that fund the state government. And the budgets were a mixed bag. Remember, three budgets here in Washington State: capital, transportation, and operating. The capital and transportation budgets were fairly bipartisan supported. The operating budget, which is the largest of the three by far, was not bipartisan at all. It was a very partisan budget because it required a group of state tax increases that were run as separate bills to the operating budget, but each raised tax revenues to the state government to fund the controversial and partisan operating budget. Those related tax bills, separate but related tax bills, are really the focus of the trouble that happened yesterday here at the Capitol. The governor, after saying that he would not support these tax increases, ended up signing them. He did not veto any of them, which some people believed he had indicated he would do. He signed all of them. This includes an increase in the state's business and occupation, B&O tax, our main business tax, an increase in property taxes, which I and others are calling the backdoor property tax increase. Very shady in how it's structured and creates a problem with regard to K-12 school funding. You may remember the McCleary lawsuit some years ago that required the state government to reform how it uses property taxes to fund K-12 schools. We put those reforms into place. This shady property tax increase actually undoes some of those reforms and will likely result in another McCleary-type lawsuit about K-12 school funding. Also raises a number of sales taxes and excise taxes at the state level, targeted particularly at the tech industry, what it calls advanced computer services. The advanced computer or advanced computing services tax increase is really a rifle shot fiscally at the tech industry and may result in a number of our tech companies leaving Washington for other states, something I don't want to see, and many of us on the fiscally conservative side don't want to see, because that's an important industry to Washington State. And also, one of the bills that the governor signed increases even higher the sales tax on gasoline and diesel fuel for vehicles. We're already near the top in the United States in our state taxes on gas and diesel, and now it's going to be higher still. Lastly, he signed a bill that will increase the tax rate on the state's capital gains tax, highly controversial, as well as raising the rate on the state's death tax, which is already very high. Now, that affects some of our high net worth individuals in this state, and they've been supporters of the governor. And now they feel betrayed because they believe he had indicated he would not support those tax increases and ended up doing it. In all, the governor has shown that his early talk of being a moderate and bipartisan and a fiscal common sense guy was just talk. When it came time for action, the current governor is a tax and spend extremist who is raising the cost of living here in Washington State. It's not good public policy. Finally, I have to mention too, in the same day, he signed both the controversial House Bill 1163, an anti-gun rights bill, and the super controversial House Bill 1296, which guts the state's Parents' Bill of Rights and also adds very weird and legally dubious language, allowing the state's Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction, OSPI, the state school superintendent, to withhold operating money from school districts. That's the reverse of what OSPI should be doing, which is championing school districts. So that bill, we call it a Frankenstein bill because they bolted on different things onto that bill, both guts the Parents' Bill of Rights and potentially hurts school districts by withholding operating money from them. All of these controversial bills, the tax increases, the anti-gun bill, the anti-school and anti-parents' rights bill, are likely to result in litigation and certainly will be in the public's debate in the months and years ahead. So a beautiful day here in Olympia, but some not so beautiful public policy in the last few days. This is why I'm here, to fight for what's good in Washington and fight against these bad ideas that the current governor supports. I'll talk to you again soon, but until then, enjoy the beauty of living here in Washington. Stay strong and be well.